Hi, this is Glenda, and today I wanted to show you how to make my silicone molds. I'm going to be using silicone 100%, and I'm using the one that has low odor. You're going to need one of this, a caulking gun to get it out, a container in which to do it, a container that you don't plan on using for anything else later because stuff will remain on it, and then cornstarch. Oh, some mineral oil and something to stir it with. You can also use gloves, but the gloves usually become all gunked up with stuff. It's impossible to remove what gets stuck to the gloves, so I prefer to use this, and then I use my hands. And you're gonna need something to make a mold out of. I will be using these polymer clay flowers that I made the other day, but I'm also gonna do some shells and some tiny beads. The first time you use the silicone, you have to remove the cap, of course, which sometimes it can be really hard because it comes really stuck. Then you have to cut an opening with a knife. Then you're gonna need to break the seal. You can do that by putting a long wire tool or something to pierce it. Then when you're ready to make the mold, you just need to load the silicone into the caulking gun, like so. Okay, this is 2 ounces. I just sort of want to have an idea of how much I will be using, so you may have an idea. Oh, and optionally, you can also use food colorant or soap colorant for glycerin if you wanted to add some color to this. Let's see, I'm going to do about 1 ounce of silicone. There we go. And in my latest experiments, it seems that what I need of cornstarch, it's about twice the amount, if not maybe a little bit less. But let me just put twice the amount, even if I don't use all of it. Whatever doesn't get absorbed is just gonna stay in the container. I'm gonna do 1.5 actually, so I'm gonna put 1.5 ounces of this. Alright. And the first thing is just to mix it with the stick. And I'm going to move everything to one corner actually to make it easier. And then as I need more cornstarch, then I may come to the other side. And make sure you work in an area that has ventilation, that has, you either have a fan going and the window is open, or do it outside, because even though it's low odor, it still smells some, and some people may find it bothersome. And the idea is to mix this until it starts forming a ball, like it comes together. Oh, I almost forgot, you need a few drops of the mineral oil. Okay, that might be more than a few drops, but it should be fine. You can also do this with liquid soap and with water. I have not tried that method. There's tons of videos though in YouTube if you wanted to try that one. There are a lot of videos for that. I was watching a comparison video of somebody who made a mold with all the most 3 popular methods, and this one, the one with cornstarch, ended up being the one that person preferred for, I forget now why, but he showed it, and so I just decided to try that one. Okay, we have big chunks now, so I'm going to venture to use my hands a little. Okay, I'm going to, it feels very sticky, so I'm trying to incorporate most of the cornstarch. It's sort of like if you were making bread and you're trying to bring your dough together. And then you can start sort of kneading it. And when you do that, the stuff that's inside, the stickiness starts coming out. So you want to incorporate more of the cornstarch until it's not too sticky, until it will be somewhat tacky but not sticky. And when it's in this stage, it's like you're almost ready to start making the mold. It still felt a little more sticky than I wanted it to. Now I've noticed that if I put too much cornstarch, sometimes it's not good because then the mold itself is not very flexible. And if I put too little, it's not good either because then this actually becomes stuck to it. And when you try to remove it, it destroys the mold. So it's sort of like a experimental. You have to try it a few times to be successful, which is why if you don't want to mess with it, just buy the silicone kits. Okay, this sort of now has the consistency of what do you call it, the stuff they make sugar, they make cakes with fondant. Yeah, it's similar to that, or very marshmallowy. It feels a little tacky still, so I'm not quite sure if it's ready yet. I have used up most of the cornstarch at this point, and it feels more tacky than I'm comfortable with, so I'm going to add a little bit more. It's about 1/4 of an ounce. Okay, now it's feeling like it's ready. It doesn't feel tacky anymore because of the cornstarch. So I'm going to start rolling it into the shape of the mold. I'm just gonna make like a rectangle, I think. So this is about more than 1/2 inch thick, because when you press this, it's gonna go thinner. So that's a good thing. Okay, I'm going to make it a little bit more flat to have more room. So now it's about 1/2 inch. And I will put some cornstarch there so it doesn't get stuck. And this is gonna be the side, yeah, that side. I don't want to have that because that's gonna be problematic. Let's see, I'm gonna put some cornstarch on it, a little bit, and I'm just going to press it. Once I start pressing, I'm not gonna move back and forth, I'm just gonna go down, but I may press on the sides to hold it in place. Okay, I think that's it. And I'm just gonna let it be there. Then I'm going to do this flower. So it is the next day, it's the following morning. They've been here overnight and I'm gonna try to pop them out so that it can keep curing. And I'm just pushing gently on the sides. And that was a very clean release. I'm gonna leave that one last because I'm not sure how stuck that will be. Okay, they're still not ready to use because this part hasn't been exposed to air, and I think it needs to so that it finished drying. One way I know the mold is ready is what I do is that I poke lightly with something sharp, and you can tell that it's not leaving an indentation. I mean, very lightly, but it pushes back up. When it's not ready, when you poke, it actually leaves an indentation that's visible, and it's gonna be there like forever, for the rest of the time. And you can also use these molds with melt and pour. And I've seen videos where people use them with resins, so they're also good for that. What I'm gonna do now is that I'm just gonna let them be for another, I'll check tonight, but more than likely about 24 hours. I found that the longer I let them sit and leave them alone, then the better they work as a mold. You don't have to leave your impression piece overnight. If you want it, you could remove it right away. Here I just applied a very thin layer of cornstarch to the silicone, and then I press my model piece into it. In this case it's like a shell, and right away after pressing it I just pull it out, just by being careful to not to disturb it too much and bring it back to the original shape. And if it was stuck, I will find out right away, and then I could fix it. I could fix the silicone at that time by adding either more oil or more cornstarch or whichever. Now this particular mold ended up being too thick and it's hard to use though. So my plan is that next time that I make a mold, I'm just gonna make one mold per piece. Instead of making one long shape and put multiple things in it, I'm just gonna make an individual one for each piece that I have. But other than that, I mean, it did work. It just wasn't as easy as the ones that I've made that are thinner. That's all. But just to show you how they work, I have here some soap dough, and I'm going to press it into the one with the flour, which is an easy one. I pretty much just press it and then I pull back so that it matches the shape, you know, just to reveal the petals. And then, because this is fairly thick, I just barely push and pull, and there is the flower. Hi, I hope you liked the video. If you have any questions or comments, you can leave them below. And remember to subscribe. See you next time. Bye.